Hey y'all, Redneck Reads Reddit here. Today, Prorevenge! Here we go. Enjoy Your Engagement, Jerk by Riddle Bill. I moved to a particular school in the 5th grade, and at the same time I developed epilepsy. Now I was probably 5'5" and maybe 100 pounds soaking wet, and was really quiet, so I kind of attracted the attention of several not so friendly people most of my time there. It was totally indiscriminate, but there was one group that was particularly bad. Being called Twitch several times a day was bad enough, but this particular group thought it would be funny to sneak up on me and slap me in the back of the head, causing my seizures to trigger. The leader of this group was about a head taller than me and 50 pounds heavier, most of which was muscle. He would actually corner me and hit me any chance he got, and his behavior was completely ignored despite me reporting the most incidents with a bloody lip or a black eye. Now, around my freshman year, I was taken out and sent to military school. And during that time, I had a growth spurt. And due to all the exercise I got while I was there, I couldn't make it in there because of my condition and ended up just going back to high school with everyone I couldn't stand. When I got back, I noticed how much smaller all the kids that had bullied me looked and how they tended to stay away from me. Now, back to their leader. He really didn't approach me either, other than the occasional passing insult. Despite my growing to 6'2" and gaining an extra 80 pounds of muscle, I had well enough control of my anger. Now, it doesn't mean I didn't have the limits to my patience. He managed to push it so far over the edge, I couldn't see the edge. I was standing out in front of the school one day just talking to a girl. At the time, I didn't know that she was dating the jerk. Next thing I know, I'm being shoved to the ground from behind, and he storms by me to slap his girl in the face. End of patience reached. Now, when I was in military school, I was taught self-defense. I stepped in front of him while he was screaming in this girl's face while she was crying, grabbed his face, swept his legs out from under him, and slammed the back of his skull into the sidewalk. Needless to say, he didn't cross me again. Now, about 5 years later, I'm walking through Walmart when I hear someone yell, "Hey, Twitch," followed by a hard slap to the back of the head. I knew who it was. Don't overreact, and just turned to see him there. He asked what I've been doing up until then. And things go the way they usually do when you run into someone you used to know. He tells me he's there to find an engagement ring for his girlfriend, for which I just say, "Oh." Now, we were already by the jewelry counter when he saw me. So I decided to hang around to see which ring he picks. And let's just say, yeah, that's a nice one. I tell him bye and turn to walk away, and he trips me and laugh. I just laugh back and act like I'm not annoyed. Now, about a month later, his relationship status goes from in a relationship to engaged to single. And then he gets engaged to another girl. I knew the girl he got engaged to because we went to school together. So, when I see her in the checkout line in the same Walmart, but it seems she doesn't remember me. Then I see the ring on her finger and laugh. I just had an idea. When she turns to me and asks why I laughed, I said, "Oh, nothing. That ring just reminds me of a ring I saw an old friend buy in here a few months ago for his girlfriend. That was at the time." She looks at me and asks where I went to school, and I answered. She said, "And what was that friend's name?" I give her the jerk's name, and she turns red. I ask her why. She looks upset. She says her boyfriend said he'd got it for her at the name of a big, expensive jewelry store. I act surprised, and I apologize to her for saying something. I probably said something that I shouldn't have. I saw his relationship go to single in a few days, and when I saw it, I laughed hysterically for at least a minute. The last time I saw him, he was overweight, balding, and sitting on a bench outside a pharmacy. Oh, me. Oh, Bill, I still like first comment. The last time I saw him, he was overweight, balding, sitting on a bench outside the pharmacy. Why did you not go whack him behind the head and saying, loser? Yep. I would have. Alright. Oh. Oh. Pardon me. Let's see here. Well, weapon says not safe for work. I'm going to avoid that one. Okay. Cause damage to my car and yell at me? I get their tenancy put into question, and them I fine. Okay, I live in a masonite house in the UK. 4 in a block, and the only parking is on the street. I recently got my license and put it on a parent's insurance to keep the cost low. This is where the story starts. I have this neighbor who's an awful driver. Crashed at least 2 cars. Who also fly-tip abandoned rubbish in their gardens, blocking our fire escape. All this is relative information. I parked my car outside one day, on street parking. She pulled up right behind me, blasted her horn, and started swearing at me to move out of her space. I opened my door and threatened to smash my car up. I locked my car and went inside, ignoring her. I looked out the window and she parked her car on my bumper. Then placed another car she owns on my other bumper, causing slight paint damage and making sure I couldn't get to work next day. This continued for a few weeks, her parking right on my car, or parking 2 cars over 4 spaces. Mind you, I own my house while she rents hers. Meaning we have parking rights over her due to having parking passes. I've had enough of this after a while. I ran the license plate for both her cars to the website, and it tells you the MOT status of a vehicle. Car 1, MOT. Car 2, MOT expired. What this means is basically the car cannot be driven or even on public land. I had the information I wanted. I called up the council, whose authority it is to report the car, and told them about an abandoned vehicle parked outside my house, restricted parking times. They got back to me and told me they had passed it on to the police. I then decided to phone her landlord about the fly tipping in the back garden. He came and spoke to me, and my parents investigated and put her lease in the contest because she had not blocked our escape route and left the stuff abandoned. I kept calling about the car every day for about a month, till one day she moved the car to another car park around the corner, again on public land. I reported it again, this time with evidence it had moved. The council arrived that day and stuck a ticket on it saying they were made aware this vehicle was abandoned and the owner had to contact them to get it moved. A few days ago, I woke up and saw a notepad taped on the car saying that the vehicle will be crushed in 7 days if she doesn't respond to them. The car has an outstanding fine of $1,872.82 pounds, and will increase if this action is taken. Meaning she calls them or it gets crushed. The car is still there today, and it looks like it might get crushed. Safe to say, I don't think she will damage my car or swear at me again. I also don't think in the future she will ignore the council's calls for her to respond to them. Update. The car got taken and crushed, which caused her to lose her temper and shout at the tow truck driver. He phoned the police on her and caused her to receive an ASBO, an antisocial behavior order, along with her landlord putting her on to a final warning. Yep. I'm scrolling through to see if there's any updates on that. Oh, that's awesome. Don't treat people like jerks. Oh, this one sounds good. Burn Me and I'll Incinerate Your Life by Subbot 2. Back in the good old 8th grade, I was kind of bullied. I was made fun of being lanky and a kitty. The main guy who orchestrated this is Gary. Not using real name for obvious reason. He was an absolute pyromaniac. He the sort of kid to show up his lighter at school and light some grass on fire. I, on the other hand, am pyrophobic, and I'm dead scared of fire. He thought it would be funny if he hanged around my locker dangling his lighter and burning it. The other times he stole my homework and burned it. I don't know why he did it, but it looked like he did it for the kicks. One day I'm walking to my locker after school, and out of nowhere he jumps with his lighter and advances me and holds it to my arm. I would like to say this is when I went sicko mode on him and locked his butt, but I would have been kidding myself and you. The next thing I know, I have a 2-inch burn up my right arm. Revenge time. Remember when I told you I was lanky? Turns out this is a good trait for sneaking into places. It only took a bit of asking around to get his address. One weekend when I knew he was away, I went to his house and climbed up into his bedroom. I only took a glance to see the stash of lighters, firecrackers, and kindling. Most interesting of all was a small bag of a crystal matter. Yep, it's drugs. Phone in hand, I take a few snaps and send them to both the police and the principal. A few days later, he was expelled and was on a community correctional order. Few lessons. Drugs are for losers. Don't do drugs, kid. Don't make thin of thin, boys. I wrote this on a mobile and had crap typing skills. If you got this far, I bid you a nice day. Yeah. I read some of his comments like, yep, I thought you were going to set his house on fire. But anyway, y'all, this has been some Prorevenge. This has been JD here at Redneck Reads Reddit. If you like what we're doing, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. Bing! So you always get notified anytime we upload a video, if you click the little all thing. Alright, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a blessed one, and y'all take it easy, too.